Hi Aries Sun and Rising. Welcome to a video looking at the transit of Jupiter in the sign of Taurus. This is occurring beginning on May 16th, 2023 until May 25th, 2024. For the sign of Aries, this is going to occur in your second house of earned income. Now, this is just a general forecast, so when I give those dates, it is going to depend on your particular chart when this transit actually starts and ends in your second house, but it will be there at some point, so it's still valid. So, the second house is the money that you earn. It is also the house of your possessions and your self-worth. So that is something that is intangible, that, your self-worth is something that has to do with the way that you feel about yourself, how much you value yourself. So suffice it to say that when Jupiter goes into this sector, this can enhance your sense of self-worth. Now, it's a really interesting thing because if we look at it from the standpoint of somebody who is increasing their income, that could lead to a feeling of greater self-worth. And the reason is that a person may feel more successful. They may feel like if they have their own business, that people want what they have more than they did before. By the way, I would say that the second house is the money that you attract also. I don't think it has to be just the money that you work to earn, because I've had an experience of that Jupiter transit in the second house, and it wasn't money that I earned myself. It was actually given to me, some money. So I think because Venus rules this house and Venus is the attractor, we can also look at it from that standpoint. Oh, and the other thing too is that the second house are your values. So this is one of those things. So this differs from self-worth, which is your sense of self-esteem. Your values are the things that matter to you in life. And even though the second house is an earth house in astrology, because it is ruled by Taurus and its ruler is Venus, and it has that sense of tangibility factor attached to it because of the earth element, it still can relate to things that are intangible, like I said, your self-esteem, but also your values. So the reason that this is important is that not everybody is materialistic. So when Venus is in their second house, they may not be like, if they're listening to this right now, an Aries sun or rising, they may not necessarily be going, oh, yes, I'm going to, rake it in. They might be like, I want to feel better about myself. I want to enhance myself on a different level. So certainly there may be some things that this Jupiter transit brings that are not things that are easily observable, but you may feel very good about them. I want to give a shout out to cafeastrology.com, where I just use them because they had like a pretty good amount of information to work with. And one of the things that they mention are comfort levels, is that's another thing. I assume that they mean kind of that feeling of, Taurus definitely loves to have their kind of comfortable life. And I think that I don't know exactly how they are referring to it, but I'm assuming that this also has to do with possession. So if the person wants to buy something, that they have the ability to buy, let's say they want to buy furniture that's very comfortable, that's very, everything, and even like their bank account. When somebody asks another person, how much money do you make a year? And they say, we're comfortable. That might be what they're talking about. But I think even like literally, when you have certain items, maybe it's a cashmere sweater or, shoes that are really high quality that really protect your feet, that can also be a source of comfort. But yeah, so that was just something that I thought was pretty interesting that they said. So having Jupiter transit this area could very well mean that you increase the amount of money that you are earning. One interesting thing that they say about this is that because of that, and I'd say especially since Aries is the one who is experiencing it in the next 12 months, I think of Aries as a free spender because Aries is a fire sign, and fire signs are expansive. And when a sign is expansive, they might look at pinching pennies or counting, having a budget as being petty, as being something that is beneath them. They want to just have that freedom to be able to spend money on things that they want. And so you may increase your earning power, but then you may increase your spending. So, will you be left with any kind of savings, that you've gotten from this increase in May of 2024? Well, that depends on how you act. So that's one thing that I thought was interesting to think about. And another thing, okay. So they do mention that you can get, and they describe it as a significant gift or bonus. So that was what I was referring to that occurred for me during that transit when it went through my second house. So they are acknowledging that you don't have to earn it. And the other thing too is that you may have, if you've had money problems, you may be able to resolve them now. Now, of course, you could say that if somebody has to pay back some money and they're earning more money now, they can do it that way. But there might be other reasons why that's occurring, I suppose, because Jupiter is a very positive influence, it's a benefic planet. And so we think of Jupiter too as lucky, like a lucky influence. But however you slice it, it's something that can lend itself to making you feel more abundant in your life during this time period. Maybe there is going to be a high ticket purchase during the next 12 months that you decide to undertake. And of course, that goes part and parcel with having the extra money. But another thing that is connected to this is you may increase your sense of self-worth. So what also happens is that people feel like they are deserving of something that is maybe very expensive, because sometimes people deprive themselves of things because they don't really feel worthy of it. I don't think that Aries people tend to be like this. This might be another sign that would be more inclined to do something like that. But, I just thought I would mention that in case there might be a few frugal Aries people out there. Certainly, there are always outliers. And then one thing that they mentioned were aspects in particular trines from Jupiter to planets in the sixth and or 10th houses, which are also Earth houses. The sixth house is the house of employment, and the 10th house is the house of career. So this is like I would imagine that if it was sextiling planets in those houses, that would be fine as well. It's just that the trine is the most advantageous of all because it's the most effortless in terms of like the sextile is a little bit more, you have to really use a little bit more elbow grease to have those blessings flow to you, but the trine, it's like very clear cut in that sense. So if you know your chart, you can look at that. Now obviously this is going to depend on the degree that Jupiter is in. It won't be trining it the whole time. It'll only be during a certain part of that 12-month transit. But yeah, I mean, this is in general considered very good for money. So I hope that you enjoyed this, Aries. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.